of a person. Doing what? Revealing to them who God is, what they're like, their need of Christ, and what the cross is all about. As long as the devil can keep you blind to that, as long as he can convince you that there is no such thing as a Satan, a devil, as long as he can convince you that everybody's going to be all right, that there's a loving God in heaven, everybody's going to get there one way or the other, that's just one way and we're all going to be there, all religions are the same, all are equal, all this, all that, all lies. That's the way Satan operates. Why? It all sounds good, but it's all untruth. So, when you look at how he operates, very important, very interesting, because it isn't something that just happens, it is something so very well planned. Every temptation is presented to the mind. Every single one, all begins right here. That's why he says we must bring our thoughts captive. That is, we must control the way we think. Now, if you're an unbeliever, you've got to do it in your own strength, and sometimes you can't, probably most of the time you can't. You can control some things you think. But when it comes to strong temptation, your tendency is going to be to rationalize your behavior to the point that you can say it's okay. You say everybody does it. It's a new culture. It's a new day. The Bible's antiquated. You can think all kind of things, all of which indicate the blindness of your mind and heart to the truth. But that's the way Satan, that's the way he operates. And so we have to guard our thinking. Now, let's analyze this whole issue of his strategy. When we think about it, what is Satan's strategy? Because these things don't just happen, well, suddenly I fell into temptation here, or I'm tested over here, tried over here. There's a very clear design. And if you're wise, you will not listen to this message without writing down what I'm about to tell you. Because listen, you're going to be defeated. He's a master at it, and I'm going to show you. He's a master at it. He knows exactly how to defeat us. He defeated Adam and Eve in a perfect garden. He defeated Abraham. You can just go all the way through. David, you go through the scriptures. The saints of God defeated them one after the other, over and over and over again. We will live in defeat if we don't understand Satan's strategy and his objective to destroy us. That's what he wants to destroy us. And listen, if you're saved, he can't destroy you. But he can certainly destroy your testimony, your witness, and your usefulness for God. That's why you have to be very careful in the life that we live and the environment in which we live. So what is his strategy? Well, the first thing is this. Very simple, but very, very important. That is, he directs our attention to a specific need or desire. There's some things that Satan is not going to tempt you with because he knows that you have no desire and no need in that area. But he knows what our needs are, what our desires are. Somebody says, well, is Satan omniscient? No, he's not. He doesn't know everything, but he knows just enough. You say, well, how does he learn about me? All Satan has to do is watch how you live. And so he knows our weaknesses, and he knows that there are times in our life when we're weaker than others, and he knows the area of our weakness. So how does he tempt? That is something very specific, usually a need or desire. And let's look, for example, at two examples here. And let's take Eve first of all. You remember what he said to her? He said, Eve, that tree in the midst of the garden, the one that you can know what God's like. In fact, you'll sort of be equal to God. That is, you'll know the same knowledge that he knows, the difference between good and evil. Now, Eve had three natural, God-given desires. A desire for beauty, which it must have been one of the most beautiful trees. A desire for knowledge, to be like God. And certainly a natural appetite, whatever this fruit was, to satisfy her physical appetites. All of us have the same. Watch this carefully. What Satan does is to get us to want something that we want in order to give us something that he wants us to have. Which, of course, oftentimes, once we get it, we wish we'd never had it. He will lead you and tempt you with something that you need, or something sometimes you think you need. And what he's after is to get you to have what you want in order to give you what he wants you to have, remembering his objectives, draw you away from God, toward God.